Hello everyone, here we are again in this beautiful Encompass space. The trees, the ocean, lovely family, friends, and it's our celebration of this winter time with all the festivities, Christmas, Solstice, all around the world. People are celebrating lights and all the promise of New Year. And with us today, Sheila Weaver is going to facilitate a conversation starting with her own work and her reflections on this time of year. So please help me welcome Sheila Weaver. Hi, Sheila.
Christmas in my childhood was quite a quiet affair. There were my parents and me. My half-brother and his wife came out for supper in the evening, and we had special foods. Of course, my mother made fruit cake, Christmas cake, and Christmas pudding and things like that. We had sweet potatoes, which were a once-a-year treat, and Japanese oranges, and a little tree with those paper chains, multicolored paper chains, and tinsel and glittery red and silver balls. But after, at some point in my childhood, it bothered me that we were cutting a tree just for the sake of 2 weeks. And so my father, for the next couple of years, dug one from the yard. But of course it was hard on the tree because it wasn't used to just having its roots in a pot. And it didn't do too well after, and it was a lot of work. So after that we just had fir boughs and things like that with fancy decorations, and of course we listened to the Handel's Messiah every year on the CBC radio, and my father conducted the White Rock Choral Society, so there was a Christmas concert. But then as an adult, I wasn't quite sure what Christmas meant to me once my parents had died. Because I didn't really fit in the commercial kind of Christmas or the secular or religious Christmas festivities, but it's such a major event in the year that I had to find some way that felt right for me. And the first thing I thought of course, was the Solstice, which has been celebrated probably in most of the world since long before the Christian era. The fading of the light and the dying back, and then the rebirth of the light, the starting of the new growth. But I was living in Vancouver at the time, and I visited a friend. Someone invited me. She was a songwriter, and she invited me to come and sing carols around her piano. So I went there, and one that I started on was Away in a Manger. And she had a different version. Her version was Away on East Hastings. And she couldn't finish for the pain and anguish and anger that she was feeling. And she said, there are women today here in this city, pregnant, starving, with no roof, no bed. And we sing pretty songs about a baby of 2,000 years ago, and we don't succor these. And it really struck me very powerfully, what she was saying. And so that reinforced my feeling about the solstice being my focus for the time. But I also started looking to see if there were carols that didn't speak of the birth of the Christ child, but of maybe the earth, because the earth is dying down, and then it's being reborn with the new light coming. And so I came across, we had several old carol books, and in one of them I found a lovely Polish lullaby from the 17th century, and it seemed like one that I could add words to using the same melody. So I'll sing the first verse of the original. I found it online. This is from the Carol book that we had, but I found it online in different English translations, and it apparently is a song that is still sung today. So I'll sing the first verse as I found it in our Carol book, and then the 2 verses that I wrote. It's called, the original is called Jesus' Lullaby. Lullaby, Jesus, my own little treasure. Lullaby, Jesus, my joy beyond measure. Lullaby, Jesus, my dear jewel sleeping. Mary is holding you, watching and keeping. So I wrote Earth's Lullaby. Lullaby, Earth Mother, our home and treasure. Lullaby, Earth Mother, joy beyond measure. Lullaby, Earth Mother, dear jewel sleeping. Our hearts are holding you, watching and keeping. Sleep now, dear Earth Mother, rest before springtime. Sleep now, dear Earth Mother, fairest one, sleep now. Lullaby, Earth Mother, dear jewel sleeping. Our hearts are holding you, watching and keeping.
Thank you, Sheila. That was so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm going to give your voice a break and call upon Laurel.
Yule is coming. Yule is almost here. Festive cheer, lights aglow, food and fun, loved ones near at the turning of the year. Since time immemorial, we've been crafting rituals to celebrate our connection with each other and with the earth. We tread lightly and joyously on this beautiful planet with other beings. The birds, the beasts, the trees, the flowers, non-physical beings as well. The being of gravity, the being of wind, the being of light. We witness a continual show of marvels, all natural forces, great and small. We marvel at them all. Here at solstice tide, in the low light, the sun's warmth withdrawn to a central hearth, we sit amid the damp and tangled undergrowth with the small foraging birds, inhaling the musky scent of decaying leaves, while a stellar jay prances along the rooftop. We feel one with this planet on its whirling path, wearing oceans, weaving dreams on its cosmic trajectory through infinite space, still held within the sun's embrace. Christmas is a season, a feeling. It carries many names, holds many stories, wanders in disguise. Let us each follow our own heart down our familiar path to magic, mystery, and merriment. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Laurel. Composed by Laurel herself and delivered with such enthusiasm and appreciation. Thank you. Now today we're going to alternate. I'm going to call Sheila back up and then we'll choose someone next. I think Stephen, you look ready before it gets too cold. Would that work?
Ready as I'll ever
All
be,
right.
I guess.
So please welcome Sheila again.
Okay, so I found a few carols that I really liked that are much older. This one is from around the 1700 and it's a Burgundian carol by Bernard de la Monoi. Yeah, please join me with the little instruments that would fit around 1700 or so. Wow. It's called Patapan. Willie, take your little drum, Robin, play your flute, and come when we hear the tune you play. Twirl-a-loo, pata-pata-pan. When we hear the tune you play, how can anyone be glum? When the men of olden days gave the King of Kings their praise, they had pipes on which to play. Twirl-a-loo, pata-pata-pan. They had pipes on which to play, full of joy on Christmas Day. God and man this day be come, joined as one with flute and drum. Let the happy tune play on, twirl-a-loo, pata-pata-pan. Flute and drum together play as we sing on Christmas Day.
Yay! Yay!
That kept us warm. So my great pleasure to bring Stephen to the space. Stephen, you actually helped us get inspired for new rituals at Christmas.
Oh wow!
Yes,
I'm
last
so
talk that
impressed.
we had.
I'm, you know, it's nice to know when you come up with an idea and somebody's like, you know, has the energy to take it forward and
Well,
do something
everyone-
positive with it.
Yes, so over to you.
Okay. No, it's a little bit of a shock. I think I wasn't fully anticipating giving a speech today because I hadn't really written it down, but just some of the thoughts that were coming to me lately about Christmas seems to be the theme, and the solstice and the time of the year, and you know, it's kind of I guess when we think of the different characters of Christmas and what they mean to you, or the different characters of places like Yule, or you know the energy of the earth and the wind, and you know the invisible beings, right? And sometimes when I think about the prominent beings of this time, I think the two that come to me first is definitely, well, I think you have the Christ figure, and you have Santa. And one of the thoughts that, you know, we so much think of, you know, there's Christ the Savior, or Christ the, you know, the Judge, or but I like to think of it as Christ the Rebel, right? You know, someone who wasn't necessarily going to go along with everything that was going on at that time. And so then I think that Santa kind of falls into that category too, where it's like, you know, what is this guy really up to up there? I mean, he's got these elves. Do they have a union? Do they have rights? You know, like, what does he feel about global warming? It's obviously threatening his entire territory. And like his primary thing is that he, at this time of year, apparently he just, you know, hits up every house and, you know, drops either coal for the ones that have been naughty, but I mean, that's dirty energy now too, so he might be breaking some sort of environmental regulations that we don't know about. And you know, they're shutting coal down, so I think Santa's, you know, he's got to change his game a little bit, or is he going to continue to be a rebel? I mean, that's the big question about Santa is, you know, how is he going to react this year of all years, especially when you consider that, you know, he's probably not following many of the protocols if he's entering people's houses. You know, I mean, generally that requires a warrant, or it requires, you know, especially now, you know, is he following all the necessary sanitation? Is he, you know, is he cleaning the chimney when he leaves? Like, is he, right? You know, is he doing the appropriate thing? Is he waiting for, making sure that all the kids are in bed so he doesn't come in close contact with them? I think he was probably pretty good about that to begin with, but nobody's talking about, you know, the reindeer as well, right? Like, how do they feel about it? Like, is it their free choice? Is it to be reined up like that? Or is it something that, you know, maybe he needs, like, to, you know, get together with Tesla and have, like, an electric sled? Something like that. Like, I think he's got quite the challenge this year as to how Santa's going to move forward. And I think that, as much as, you know, for me what Santa was in my early days, it seemed like a bit of a con, like a guy who came in there, stole cookies, you know, took some milk, right? And then left something. But clearly you're like, oh no, like why would my parents ever want to give credit to a guy like that? Like that's, you know, that's probably not the right message, right? That if you were naughty or nice, you know, throughout the year, as opposed to thinking like, how did you progress through the year, right? And how did you learn from your mistakes? So I think maybe Santa can recalibrate some of his principles for the future, and decide whether he's going to continue to be a rebel or is he going to conform to the norms of the expectations of our society.
Ho, ho, ho! That was good. That sure makes you think, doesn't it? He has to adjust. We all have. Thank you, Stephen.
Welcome.
So, I'm going to turn it back to Sheila. Have you got another song for us?
This is another one that's maybe even older. It's from the 16th or 17th century. It's a Catalan Carol. This particular English version by Cecil Cowdery. And apparently in those times it was quite common for people to strum stringed instruments in Spain and Italy. So we don't have stringed instruments here, but we have other instruments, so please join me in that, in the refrain. It's foom, foom, foom. On December 25th, sing foom, foom, foom. On December 25th, sing foom, foom, foom. On that night a child was born, pink and white at break of morn. In a stable dark and dreary lay the son of Virgin Mary. Foom, foom, foom. Holidays the good Lord gave us. Foom, foom, foom. Holidays the good Lord gave us. Foom, foom, foom. Summer feasting suits us best, yet with all his name be blessed. He who doth our needs remember sent us Christmas in December. Foom, foom, foom.
That also had me thinking over the week as well, Laurel. I was thinking, fa la 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 la. Laurel, look who we have.
Okay, Kalita.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Okay.
sure. Let's hear it.
See what we got.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good
Tidings to bring to you and your kin. Good wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, that's lovely. Do you know Alvin and the Chipmunks? You join me, please. From what I remember when my daughter was little. Christmas, Christmas time is near. Time for joy and time for cheer. We've been good, but it won't last. Hurry, Christmas, hurry fast. Got a train that loops the loop. Me, I want a hula hoop. We will all run on a night. Christmas, don't be late. And there's a voice for Goofy there. Merry Christmas, everyone. Shall we try Jingle Bells?
Oh, we could try Jingle Bells.
Let's all sing Jingle Bells. 1, 2, 3.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse Christmas open sleigh.
Bell, and I forgot to bring it
Oh,
out.
your bell.
My bell.
We invite Cynthia.
Cynthia. Cynthia, I'm ringing your bell.
I'm sorry.
Are you ready to come up?
Oh, I'm up for sure.
And Laurel and I were saying to Cynthia, with her beautiful red sweater today, that she got it covered. You are the picture of Christmas.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm so excited to be sharing this blessing with everybody. So, it's called a winter solstice blessing. May the longest night and the shortest day bring rest to your mind and soul, I pray. May you find guidance and may you find peace as the cycle of light will slowly increase. Embrace the magic that the darkness bears. Breathe deep in the chill and the shift in the air. May you always be blessed with the light from within, and may well-being be yours as the new cycle begins. And it's got an outline of an owl, so I'm giving it to Johanna.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I wondered if you would stay, Cynthia,
Yes.
and maybe facilitate a few more people coming up. Thank
I
you.
would love to.
This is beautiful.
Yes. Well, I was originally going to talk about hope and invite other people to come up and tell me about what they hope for 2022, but I was thinking all week that word hope bothered me. I said, it's got to be something stronger than the word hope with the state of the world these days and with people being sick and so on. I needed a stronger word. So the word is will. What will happen in 2022? So for me, the world, COVID will be cured and nobody else will die of COVID or any of its variations for the rest of 2022 and forever. There will be no more wars. There will be, the planet will start to heal itself. People heal each other and heal the planet at the same time. And so everything will be all healed. And this will happen in 2022. I firmly believe it, that we are going to turn our lives around. The planet's going to heal. People are going to heal from all the illnesses. And this will happen in 2022. Yay! Does anybody else want to come up and talk about what they think, what they believe will happen in 2022? Anybody? Oh, Johanna, thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I believe that we will learn from these last 2 years of responding to a pandemic by knowing that collectively we can all rise to the occasion to make things work. I think this will be something that a lot of us will have to consciously remind each other of. We can do this. There's all sorts of issues that if we collectively set our minds together, we can make the world a better place.
Thank you very much. Johanna. Oh, Laurel, please, thank you. Come on up.
Cynthia, I really appreciated your really powerful words that you were speaking and using will. And I see that as envisioning. Capture. This is a Chinese symbol. This is the word for prosperity, and it's made up of these other various symbols, and it means is a combination of the symbols that represent production, movement, earth, and outgoing virtue. This suggests that in order to prosper, one needs to have outgoing virtues, connection to the earth, and the will and desire to create. So this ties in with what Cynthia was saying about the will.
We pray. Coliada, Coliada came and brought us Christmas Day.
It's so lovely to hear that many of the traditions are connecting a lot of people all over the world. And like you mentioned, the trees and the planet Earth, children and the lovely parents and friends. it's what it's all about, isn't it? And now we have a very special guest who just got off work and is joining us, Sarah Daniel. Please come and share your lovely spirit and poetry.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Our friend Laurel and Joanna have been doing this incredible project all year round, and I'm so blessed to be part of the team in spirit. And when I was told there were going to be poetry, I picked up this book, which is entitled Another Song, Another Season, by a poet who passed on about 10 years ago, I think, who was a good friend of one of my good friends here on the coast. And I gleaned through it, and I found this poem that is very much related to an event or a talk that I gave last year about the equality of men and women, gender equality. But this is a little bit an overstatement of women. So anyway, I'll explain a bit more after. So it's entitled, Always It Is Women. It is women, always women, who reveal the way, who see and understand what well serves life. Forced from prehistoric day to yield in love and birth, to bend and stoop to cradle, fire and field, they gazed to earth, were befriended by what nurtures, and grew wise. Men went gladly whooping to the hunt, happy with the power to devise schemes of war, instruments of death, and magic to hold congress with the stars. If the rich game thinned or weather turned adverse, they might placate capricious spirits, blame illest luck or totem's curse, and range afar. But women knew, learning and listening they learned what in stillness is acutely learned. Crouched closest to the soil, they saw the berry sicken, the water fail, the sweet clay spoil. New incantation would not avail, nor sacrifice behoove. Soon the camp would move. It was the Magdalene who, as they pored over the dust that held her Lord, read the message of the Nazarene, and knew for what the men must cast their nets. Always it is women who reveal the way, and who, conceiving, conceive what fosters life, but man forgets. Again, it is a woman at Badasht, prostrate in prayer. She hears the shrilling trumpet piercing the air, and knows the nightingale is listening. Rising, she tears off her veil, steps blazing, glistening from her tent. The past is rent. Men groan in consternation, constellations pale, the age shudders, reels, and dies. Slowly the camp moves toward the world that she espies. So,
Getting a little too cold. Thank
yeah,
you, that was very
well,
good.
Thank you.
This is a story of a woman who lived 200 years ago, and who, in a country where women were not allowed to remove their veils, and heard about a divine teacher who said women are equal to men. And she took a stand in a conference that was held outdoors with tents and everything. One morning, she just took off her veil and went into the main tent where everyone was seated, and the men were like, consternated. And one of them even slashed his throat. He didn't die, but he was like so, how do you say that, appalled, and like, yeah, it was really a grand statement. And I firmly believe that this woman made a change for all of us today, because women, especially the women out east, they have her as a role model. And we know that in certain countries there are still women who wear the veils, or women who are oppressed by men who don't have the equal role they're supposed to hold. So this is a very special poem.
And are you referring to the Baha'i teachings?
Yes. So Baha'u'llah said, And even the Bab, the forerunner, said that women were equal to men. They said many things, but they really brought that forth in a country in Persia where women, had to wear veils and had to cover and were not allowed to do the same thing as men. So that was a very special woman. Tahireh is her name, and she also was a poetess. She wrote beautiful poems, and there's more to the story, but maybe another day. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was lovely, and so many pieces just fitting the season and the sentiments. We were talking with Cynthia about how we see, how we will experience 2022. And is there anything, I think I heard it already, but can you put it in those terms? Women will be equal.
Women are equal.
Okay.
But women are already taking a stand and already doing their part. And you saw this beautiful mother with her child, and I thought of Mother Mary and Jesus. And yeah, we've come a long way. There's a lot more to be done, but I see just you too, doing what you've done and empowering the community. That is in itself, you have a vision. And women in the indigenous nations, they see that. Women are the ones who are last consulted. After a true consultation, they have the last word because they see like 7 generations ahead, and they're able to capture the spirit in every born child, what their role will be in the community. So I'm hoping that 2022 will be the hallmark of the indigenous people having a voice, slowly coming to the forefront with the massive graves that were revealed recently. There is some stirring happening in the world, not just here in Canada, but I'm hoping that somehow there will be an advocate that will be strong enough, maybe a woman, fierce enough, a woman warrior who will stand and will be supported by her people and us, all of us.
Thank you. Wow, aren't we lucky? Thank you for coming.
Could I add one more, not a song this time, but
Yes,
very
please.
short.
Please, that would be a full circle.
Yeah.
Please come up.
Just a very short poem, or prayer, or blessing, whatever you like to call it, that I wrote. Birth. Now is the season of the shortest day. Soon, born of a sleeping Mother Earth, a new year begins. Slowly at first, then swiftly the new life will spring. Meantime, Earth lies sleeping beneath our feet. Let us walk softly.
Yes, that was so beautiful. Well, look what you set in motion. Thank you so much, Sheila. That was so fun, and with the cold, but we did it, didn't we? It was so lovely to have everybody here.